How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? What do we got here?
Got a George Patton photo album from World War II.
Where in the world would you get this?
My grandfather was assigned to Patton for 3 months during World War II.
So your grandfather was a photographer, or?
He was a photographer, yes. It's my understanding there's 3 of these books. We have one, the Patton family has one, and there's one in the National War Archives. This one was signed to my grandfather.
G.S. Patton. That's pretty amazing.
Coming down to the pawn shop today to see if I can sell my General Patton photo album. The reason I want to sell it today is because I could use the extra cash and selling it to see just exactly what it was worth. I'm hoping to sell it for around $10,000 today, and I can't see it letting go for less than 5.
So what rank was your grandfather?
He was a lieutenant at this time. In fact, he was actually about 300 miles behind enemy lines trying to capture the images from the Battle of the Bulge. Got a Purple Heart for taking shrapnel in the leg.
I have to take my hat off to your grandfather, for Patton was not an easy person to be around from what I understand. Very outspoken.
He was always getting in trouble. He was visiting a field hospital, and there was a private, and he had no physical injuries, and they asked him what was wrong with him, and he said he had battle fatigue. And he slapped him because he said he wasn't honorable or anything like that when other guys were going out in the field and dying. Real opinionated guy. General George S. Patton was arguably the best general of World War II. He led campaigns in Africa and Europe, and his ferocious leadership gave him the nickname Old Blood and Guts. These pictures are incredible. We know who that is. That's Eisenhower. And that's de Gaulle right there.
One of the photos back here is actually classified until further notice. Right here.
This album is absolutely amazing. Signed photos from one of the most famous generals in American history. And I love that some of them were originally classified. Military collectors love this kind of thing, and it could push their value through the roof.
So what do you want to do with this?
Maybe sell it.
Okay. My concerns are, we don't know how many copies are out there. Let me get a buddy down here to take a look at this thing. We'll try and come up with a value, and I'll make you an offer, okay?
Sounds good. I'm excited about an expert coming in today and might learn a little bit more about the book and actually find out what it's worth.
Wow, this is kind of fascinating. So what are your concerns about this piece?
It's one of those weird things. I mean, they're government photographs, so they're not copyrighted, most likely.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we have an autographed picture on the front by Patton.
Oh, wow. Patton is an iconic figure in American military history. He's one of the greatest generals of all time. I guess if you wanted to categorize Patton, he'd be like the Dirty Harry of World War II generals. If you wanted somebody to just make an instant decision and act, he would just do it. At this point, he's wearing 4 stars. He went from being a 3-star general to a 4-star general during this period of time. As far as the value of the images, starting with the first one that is signed in the photograph, I need to make sure that it's actually signed by him, because if this is real, this is worth a ton of money. These are just fabulous photographs of Patton. He's as pristine and pompous in this image as you could imagine. This would be worth a ton of money if it's actually signed by him, because he's one of the classic figures in all American military history, modern military history. This is kind of fascinating. Well, you know what you have here?
Real?
Nope.
Nope. Is it a copy?
Yeah, unfortunately, the writing is within the photograph itself. So this is a photograph of a photograph with the signature on it.
Okay.
And the way that you could tell is there's glossiness over the text, and there are little scratches and hairlines from where the gloss finish has been looked at and touched. There's only one that actually has stampings posted by the Signal Corps, U.S. Army. Unfortunately, Patton was not in this photograph. So overall, for the entire album, I would say that most of these are probably very well known and documented. If there's some in here that are unknown and special, then those could be quite valuable.
So it's one of those things where it's really next to impossible to put a...
Oh, this is a tough one. It's worth something, it's just who knows how much.
All right. Thanks, Dana.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thanks,
Hey,
Dana,
it
for
was
coming down.
really a cool thing.
I am so bummed the signature wasn't real, but the album is still valuable. There might only be 3 of these album sets in existence, so World War II collectors will want this.
This is my problem. I don't know if this thing's worth 500 bucks. I don't know if it's worth 2,000 bucks. How much you want for it?
I heard you say thousands.
It's just it. I don't know how many of these pictures are out there.
Right.
It's a pig in a poke, son.
Yeah, I know. 500 bucks is what I could do. So worst case scenario, I don't lose money.
500. I don't think I could be disowned from my family for 500 bucks.
Would you let your family disown you for 600?
Nah, I better not.
All right, well, thanks for bringing it in.
All right, man.
Hey, thank you.
I really hate to see these photos walk away. Even though the signature isn't original, it's still an amazing piece. But I just can't risk the kind of money this guy wants when I don't know what I'm gonna get for it.
What do we got there?
I have a World War II aerial bomber camera. And this is a picture of what it looks like inside the aircraft, facing down. It's mounted down here.
Well, it wouldn't do it any good if it was facing up, right?
True, very true. Good one. I came to the pawn shop today to sell my World War II aerial bomber camera. I bought this camera at a garage sale. I'd like to sell it for $500. I could use the money more than the camera sitting in the cabinet.
I mean, it is pretty cool. I mean, pretty much what it would be is it'd be kind of mounted into the ground of the plane, and the guy would be looking over there. That'd be kind of his viewer, and he'd be snapping photos.
Exactly, yeah.
It's not a very practical camera to put around your neck and go
Yeah.
out into the woods and snap photos of birds with. Was very practical, however, in World War II. As you can imagine, I mean, it probably took a lot of recon photos. Really, really, really helpful stuff. With the recon photos this thing took, we were able to tell the difference between a school and a weapons depot over Germany, and also what our enemies were hiding during the Cold War. Definitely some good intel to have. I mean, it's pretty big film.
It is. It's been exposed over the years. I've had this about 20 years. It's 5 inches wide, and there was 20 feet of film inside.
Makes sense, you know, bigger film, better resolution, bigger pictures. This camera's pretty cool. I think World War II collectors or photography buffs would both love to have it. What were you looking to get out of it?
I'd like $500.
You know, it's got a cool story. It's got some cool history on it. I mean, I would offer you around 200 bucks for it.
I'll do $450. It's the fact that it has film in it. That's extremely rare for this camera.
You kind of have to understand my dilemma here. It's a big, giant decoration. It's not a camera that you would be able to use today. I'll do $250.
You can't find these with the cases very often anymore. How about $375?
I'm gonna stay at $250. I'm not gonna go any higher.
Oh, come on, you can go higher than that. Give me $300 and I'll take it and go.
All right, $300, you got a deal.
Okay, thanks. When he offered me the $200, I thought he was really lowballing me, and he had no idea who he was dealing with.
What do we got here?
I've got a photograph of Custer and his family. This is prior to the Little Bighorn.
Okay. He was the boy general during the Civil War. He had his long blonde hair that he sort of flaunted. You know, it wasn't a real common thing to be a real pretty guy in white. And that's what he was. And then he,
So you're saying he didn't have good hair like us? I don't know if it's original or not. I'm hoping it's real, but I just don't know. I want $1,500 for it, and that's the minimum I'm willing to take.
So this is supposed to be General Custer at a picnic with his family.
Yes, and what happened is almost all of these were killed in the Battle of the Little Bighorn.
I don't know if he was the youngest general in the Civil War, but he had been close to it.
I think he was the youngest.
For some reason, in American history, he's made this great hero. But this is the guy who was such a bad field commander with the Battle of Little Bighorn, got everybody killed. At the Battle of Little Bighorn, Custer did not bring his heavy artillery, thinking he could get a jump on the Native Americans. And in the end, that caused his defeat. He was outmanned, he was outgunned. So where did you get this?
I have a house in Cody, Wyoming. And there was an old guy came into a restaurant. He was all by himself. We invited him to sit down with us, and he had a whole box of stuff, all of it from the Indian Wars time. He just sold it to me.
Some old guy just sold it to you.
Yep. It's been sitting in my closet for 10 years.
It's General Custer. I mean, that just shoots off alarm bells in my head. I've seen so much fake stuff from the 7th Cavalry, everything Custer. I have seen bugles that say 7th Cavalry on them. I've seen the hats. I've seen everything. There's 1,000 fake things for every real thing. But if it is an unknown photo of Custer's family, you have something here. You have something worth a lot of money. The thing is, I have to find out if it's an original photo or not.
I think I got to go hopes and dreams on this. It's got to be Custer.
Let me have someone look at it. My friend, he runs Clark County Museum, and this is right up his alley. Great. Hang out. I'll be right back. Perfect.
I'd love to have somebody that knows. I'm confident that it's real until I'm told different.
Was that you?
Oh, no, that was my second cousin. General George Armstrong Custer was very good at promoting himself. He designed his own uniforms, he wore his hair long and all of that. But as a general, he was also foolhardy. And that's what got his command killed at the Little Bighorn. I recognize the photograph. This was the picnic on Little Heart River in 1875. A year later, it's the Battle of Little Bighorn. Custer makes some dreadful errors, and everybody dies. In the Civil War, he became a brigadier general at 23. Now, it was a brevet rank. It wasn't his actual rank. But with the end of the war, he went back to being a lieutenant colonel. Part of the issue with the Little Bighorn is he was trying to make colonel, and it was very hard to move up the ranks at that point.
Basically, someone had to die.
Yeah.
Sort of like Corey's position at the moment.
First thing you want to look at is who took the photograph. This is good. Orlando Scott Goff was a very well-known photographer in the Dakota Territory. He was the one who took this photograph. At the time, he did have a studio in Bismarck in Dakota Territory. This is good.
Okay. It looks like the stamp is over something.
It's like it was glued into an album and then torn out, and somebody added this to it to, know what the photograph was.
And the paper stock looks really, really thin for a photograph printed back then.
They did use fairly thin photo stocks at times. This looks good, but I've never seen a photo stock that was matte finish. They were always a gloss finish. There is a lot of detail that is gone. If you look, say, at his shoulder boards there, you cannot see any detail on that.
Right.
So what you're saying is it's a fake?
First generation print of this particular photograph would be a valuable photograph, but that's not what you have here. In this case, somebody took a photograph of an original, reprinted it, and then tried to make look like a first generation print. And it's interesting when you get one where somebody's really tried to fake it.
Yeah.
O.S. Goff is the right photographer, and his photographs are out there. So somebody went to a lot of trouble on this. Sorry, I don't have better news for you on that.
I didn't know. That's why I brought it.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Not a problem. Thanks.
Pleasure.
If you take a photograph and take another photograph of that photograph and print it, and then another photograph of that photograph, every time you print the photograph, you lose details. And in this particular case, there was a lot of detail that should have been there and just wasn't.
Well, obviously we're not going to make a deal today.
I don't think so. It sat in my closet for 10 years, and so I'm glad to finally know the true story behind it, so that's pretty good.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you. When he told me it wasn't original, he also said it's a very good fake. I think it's going back in the closet, and it's gonna sit there for the next 10 years.
Hey, what we got?
I got some Spanish-American War training camp photos from 1898. That is Commander of the 7th Army Corps, General Lee's nephew.
This guy definitely ate Southern food, huh?
Oh yeah, quite a bit it looks like. A lot of fried chicken. I decided to come to the pawn shop today to sell my collection of Spanish-American War photos. These photos were taken of a training camp in July of 1898. I want to sell these photos just because they've been sitting around the house for 20 years and I don't look at them very often.
So where in the world did you get these?
Picked them up at an estate sale about 20 years ago.
Do you have any idea where these were taken?
Camp Cuba Libre outside Jacksonville, Florida.
You've heard the story of the Spanish-American War, don't you, Rick?
I bet I know more about the Spanish-American War than you do.
I doubt it.
Do you know how it more or less started?
Cubans blowing up battleship Maine.
It was probably the Maine that blew up.
The Spanish-American War started in 1898 after the U.S. battleship Maine blew up in Havana Harbor. The thing is, it might not have been Spain's fault. It might have been an accident. Oops. Then in the Philippines, when the U.S. Navy and the Spanish Navy were coming right to each other, there was a telegraph in the middle of the night. The only person available was the Undersecretary of the U.S. Navy, which was Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh.
He didn't go to anybody else, he just said attack.
That's Teddy.
And what most people in this country don't know is then we ended up getting the Philippines as a colony.
Right.
These photos give an incredible window into military life 100 years ago. Collectors love them. So what did you want to do with all these?
So I'm interested in selling them.
How much do you want for them?
Well, you could probably sell these for 10 bucks a piece, and there's what, 20, 25 of them there, so what, 2 1/4?
I'd give you $100 for them. It's a unique item, it's a difficult seller. $100 is what I could do.
$100, okay.
All right, $100. Let's go do some paperwork.
Alrighty. They're pretty hard negotiators, but I actually got $100 out of them today, and we're just gonna go have a good dinner on it.
What do we got here?
This is a World War II original panoramic photo of the Las Vegas Army Airfield in 1944.
It took so many people to make those planes fly. This is probably a squadron of 10 planes. Look how many people's involved.
Wow.
I've always been fascinated by World War II. I believe the people who fought in it are heroes. We really need some work done on our house, so I had to sell some of my collection. I was hoping to get 500, but I'd probably take 200.
So where'd you get this?
I believe I bought it at an antique shop. I'm a teacher, and this is the kind of thing I would bring into my classroom if I was talking about World War II and the sacrifice that the men made. The guys had to fly at least 25 combat missions over Germany, and in some cases, over half the guys never came back.
I remember my father walking up to the front door when he came home from the war. I was a kid. It felt great.
This was a great time in American history. I mean, this was a war that literally every single person did something in the United States to contribute.
These men went through hell and back to make our country what it is today. That's why they're called the greatest generation. These days, I can't even get these kids to go to the store and back unless there's something in it for them. These look like B-17s to me. I'm almost certain that's what they are.
Didn't you and Chumley just fly in one of those not too long ago?
Yeah, we flew one out at North Las Vegas Airport. It was a little shake, rattle, and roll, but it was comfortable enough I got to take a nap, Corey.
That's because you can sleep anywhere. It's always cool to see photos from World War II. And the fact that this one was actually taken in Las Vegas makes it perfect for our shop. But unfortunately, just because it's a part of history doesn't really make it worth big bucks. So how much were you looking to get out of it?
I'd like to get $500 for it.
I'd like to have it, but I ain't gonna pay no $500.
You rode in one of these.
Yeah?
And I can get on a computer right now and print him out a picture if he wants one that bad. I mean, to be realistic with you, my man, I mean, we're talking maybe $40, $50 here.
Well, you know, you've got World War II. Las Vegas doesn't look like this anymore, so you've got, you know, your Las Vegas people are gonna want it. I could go 400.
It would be a hard sell. I would like to have it just to hang it in the store. I'm gonna push it up to 75, but that's the top of the mark, Corey.
How about 300? You're never gonna find one like this.
Look, I'll push it up to a $100 bill because I'd like to have it, but I ain't going no damn higher. You either take the 100 or you walk home with it.
How about you meet me halfway? I said 3.
I met you as far as I can meet.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to walk out with it.
Hey, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
There's just no way I would have taken $100. I really think they could have got $500 for it, but that's okay. I'm just gonna have to sell some other things to get the money to remodel my home now.
Hey, how's it going? What do we got here?
A couple old World War II photos. It was the first Japanese Zero that they ever shot down.
Wow.
It was actually over the Aleutians.
A Japanese Zero getting shot down in the Aleutians? Okay, which is part of Alaska.
It's not really the Pacific Theater, is it?
How is it I never heard of this? I'm a big history buff, so it's got me intrigued right there.
Coming down to the shop today to see if I can sell my World War II Koga Zero photographs.
I have 5 photographs. I paid $250 for them, and I'd like to get a couple $1,000s for them.
There was a lot of things really close to home most people don't realize. I mean, hell, the Germans were all through the Gulf of Mexico. Where did you get these?
I found these off a dealer up in the north end of California.
July 10, 1942. That's not long after the war started. At least we started with them.
They say it was one of the biggest war prizes of the war because they were just killing us in the air.
Early in World War II, the Japanese had the best long-range fighter in the world, the Mitsubishi A6M0. It was so agile and maneuverable, it dominated in the dogfights. I know they built thousands of them, but somehow this one ended up in Alaska. They're definitely neat photos. They're a little rough shape.
Well, they've been around a while.
Yeah, and these are some really brutal images. It's not pleasant.
No, war isn't pleasant.
Oh, no, it isn't. I know a lot about World War II, and I'm blown away. I've never heard of this Japanese Zero crashing on an island in Alaska. And if these photos are as rare as I think they are, they could be a major collector's item. So what do you want to do with them?
I'd like to sell them.
The thing is, I don't know nearly enough yet to make you an offer.
Okay.
There could be a lot of these photos out there, so I have a friend who knows everything there is to know about this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Let me go give him a call. Maybe we can figure something out.
Okay, thank you.
The story behind these photos is so crazy, I'm wondering if this guy got his facts confused. But if he's right, I definitely want him.
Hey, Rick. So what do we got here?
These are the photos I called you about.
The guys normally call me in when they have a piece of historical material that they need a little bit more information on.
Is this story true? Because I've never heard it.
The story is true. This is Lieutenant Koga. He was the pilot of the Zero. The Zero at the beginning of World War II was probably the finest plane in the Pacific. This was part of the Battle of Dutch Harbor. You're talking about way out on the Aleutian Islands up in Alaska. The Japanese actually took 2 islands from America. It's the only place where they actually occupied mainland territory. And on June 3rd, bombed Dutch Harbor. And what the Japanese were trying to do in that battle was to draw some of our ships away from the Battle of Midway. Well, it didn't work. We ended up sinking 4 of their carriers at Midway, turned the tide of war at that point. At the same time, this was shot down. There's actually a picture of this plane trailing oil going over Dutch Harbor. These men were brought in to salvage this plane. This was the first Zero that we were able to bring back to the States and get back into flying shape. And that was important. What we could test on this is things like its turning radius, its speed to climb. Once we knew that, then our pilots could be trained how to deal with the Zero. This individual crash made a great difference in our war effort.
So, are these photos rare?
I've seen a couple of these photographs before. They do exist out there. I've seen one of those.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I've seen the one in his flight suit.
This one, this particular one. If I can come up with 2 of them without too much research, that I'm sure that the other ones are out there.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Even though they're not one-of-a-kind unique photographs, they are period photographs. They are originals from 1942. So I think that they will sell. People will want these.
So what do you want for them?
Well, I'm realistic. How about $750?
You know, I know you paid $250 for them, and I'm not even thinking that much money.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, they're World War II photos, but there are other ones out there that could be reproduced. Yeah, I'd go $100. I mean, that's...
Yeah, there's no way $100 on this.
I was hoping to pick these up for cheap because I really don't know what I'm going to get for them. But my gut tells me a World War II collector is going to want them.
Like $500 is probably the best I could do.
I mean, guys collect stuff like this, but they don't pay a lot. You know, I'll go $200. I mean, and I'm stretching at that.
Meet me in the middle and go $250. And they look good in here.
All right, $250.
All right.
All right, let's go write them up.
Okay.
I settled on $250. It's not what I wanted to get for them, but sometimes you just got to cut your losses, and breaking even's not always the worst thing in the world.
Happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Hey,
What do you got here?
you have an old vintage camera from the USS Wisconsin?
Hey, old man.
What?
These people got a camera here. They want to do an action film with Santa and his helper.
What kind of camera we got?
We're coming to the pawn shop today to sell this film camera we have. We actually believe that it was from the USS Wisconsin battleship.
We think it might have filmed some pretty cool things back in the day.
So why are you interested in selling it, man? This is a pretty cool camera.
Oh, it's the holiday seasons. We're broke college kids.
Yeah, we're wanting to buy some presents.
Well, I'll tell you what I want.
Where'd you get this thing at?
No, we got it in a yard sale. After we bought it, we saw the medallion from the USS Wisconsin, and we thought it had to be important.
When you start talking about the USS Wisconsin, you're talking about one of the most important battleships in U.S. history. The most famous battleship was the Arizona, but the Wisconsin wasn't far behind it. I spent 20 years in the Navy, and U.S. battleships were an engineering marvel in their day. It took 3,000 people to run one of those things. They had 9 16-inch guns. They had roughly 28 5-inch guns. If it was a piece of armament they could stick on a ship, they stuck it on a battleship. And I'll be honest with you, you have never seen a sight when they light off the 16s like that. Ooh, it's phenomenal. But we could do some research on the serial number, try to track it down when it was manufactured, and see if it correlates with the time frame of the Wisconsin. So look around the shop for 15, 20 minutes. Let us do a little research, okay? Before we make an offer on this camera, we need to know the history of it. If it came off the USS Wisconsin, I would add to the value. Okay, this camera was manufactured in 1950, okay? Wisconsin was recommissioned in 1951, so there is a very good chance that this was a ship's camera off the Wisconsin. That adds a little ambiance to it as far as the price. This thing costs $200 to $500 back in about 1950, which you could go buy a new car for that amount of money.
So we figured it's worth quite a bit.
I'm going to take a shot, and I'd be a buyer at about $125. I'm going to try to get $2.5 out of it. That's the best I can do for you.
Well, we only paid like $20 for it, so that sounds pretty good to me.
If it sounds good to you, tell me write it up. Have a happy holiday.
Chill.
Bah humbug.
I'm a little surprised that we only got $125, but we did only pay $20 for it, so we're happy with it, and we're gonna go buy some Christmas presents.
Made $100.